Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Spar&Brawl. Hope you're having a good day. As always, I'm joined by my co-host Sam. So, Sam, I was telling you, Glenn Greenwald just did this awesome, really must-watch interview on the Jimmy Dore show, and I mean, it was really good. So, I don't know how much you're familiar with this, Sam, but so Glenn Greenwald just released a new book called Securing Democracy, and it's really about all the work he's done in the past 2 years and the revelations that they've unraveled there about the Bolsonaro government, their corruption, how they went after Lula based on completely baseless facts, and the fact that how much the this very high level person, Sergio Moro, who was also the judge, who was a judge during the time when they sentenced Lula, and then became a very, very high level cabinet minister under the Bolsonaro government. He had to resign because Glenn Greenwald and his investigation and all his work showed that how they colluded and how they knew that there was nothing for putting Lula behind bars, and all these telegram messages that they released. So I mean, it's really, really, really a must watch for anybody who wants to learn about really what's happened in Brazil in the last year or two, which are really, really, really big. I mean, they went from imprisoning one of the most popular left wing politicians of our time right now, Lula, to him coming out. I mean, vindicated to the nth degree. I mean, he's been released out of prison. It's been found that everything, that all the charges against him, one charge really, against him was all bullshit really, and now he even has
Uh,
all his political rights restored. So everything
From
really. So,
from what I understood, the the reason he was released was that he what's it called? He wasn't prosecuted in
yeah,
the correct court, apparently, right? So
yeah.
is he not going to be like there is not going to be any court proceedings in any other
No, apparently
uh,
nothing else is gonna happen after that because more things have come out since then. So that was like the first step. But then they found that he was in prison based on
mm.
basically nothing. There were no facts, and really the only charges that were brought against him. So this guy was like a lifelong politician. He served president for two
he
terms, and
he was
he,
a laborer, very like I remember Lula being famous for being a mechanic that
oh no,
rose
yeah, he
up through
worked
the
in a factory. He worked in a factory. He was
uh,
illiterate apparently until age 10. That's how he lost. If you see one of his fingers, like half cut, he lost it
uh,
working at the factory and all that. And basically, he wasn't found to have received any corruption or any money or anything from the oil company. They had said that, oh no, he received a home from this construction company for like a construction deal. And apparently that was nothing. I've even heard that his wife is apparently getting back I'm not sure about this, but she's getting back the deposit made on that house or
oh
something, on that beach house, something along those lines. So just imagine like lifelong politician, and this is all that they found for you. But yeah, so the video at first, it's brilliant. I mean, Glenn Greenwald in 7 minutes really summarizes everything that they found. I mean, so this really cool story about how the hacker contacted them. So this hacker contacts a politician who's friends with Glenn Greenwald, being, "Hey, listen, I just hacked your phone right now, not because I want to blackmail you or anything, but just to show you what I'm capable of doing. I can hack anyone's telegrams and all that." So Glenn Greenwald gets into contact with him and all this, and he says, so he starts transferring the files to him. And like after 8 days of files still being uploaded to his phone, he realized that there's even more evidence or more information here than what he had received for the Snowden case. So I mean, really crazy there. So you have to listen. Him telling the story, then he details all the crazy threats that he received. I mean, the Bolsonaro government and parts of like the Bolsonaro, whatever, the Bolsominions, his supporters and stuff, the things that they do are kind of crazy.
Bolsonaro.
Yeah, he has the Bolsominions or some Bolsonaro, some things like that, some words like this. He tells this one story where he's giving like a talk on like a ship that's just like off the on a ship and everything, and the Bolsonaro supporters, and they're shooting fireworks at the boat from just on the dock, and one of the banner like catches on fire, and how him and his husband now, who's a Congress member as well, have security non-stop around the clock and him and Jimmy Dore make fun of all these kind of journalists who cry about, mean stuff on Twitter. So Jimmy Dore had a really good time just listening to him. And yeah, and Jimmy Dore tells him, listen, you've really changed the culture of Brazil. I mean, he's affected, I don't understand to what level he's affected all these rulings that have come out against, and everything that came out in the judiciary side, but it has impacted it, and it has shown a lot of things to the public and proven them. So it was just amazing. And then at the end, it just reminded me of the Snowden stuff when he broke that and when it came out. I was just right into my beginning of my becoming really involved in politics, and I used to watch Democracy Now and the Real News Network religiously back then. But yeah, it's insane how he's had like the revelations and the impact that he's had here are of course not as big as the Snowden one because it doesn't touch everyone, but it's huge, and in Brazil it's just
To be
gigantic.
uh, to be honest, I would disagree with you there because I love Glenn Greenwald. I love his takes, and I followed his Brazilian stuff. How he uncovered the judge who became the attorney general or the
Yeah.
prosecutor general himself was corrupt. It was just such a funny. Everybody is corrupt, and and by the way, I would say that I had two negative things about this. First negative thing about this interview was that, as you know, one of my favorite apps to use is Telegram, and the fact that somebody could hack it, and that was a bit disappointing because I always promote it as one of the more secure
Well, it probably is
chatting.
more secure than WhatsApp, that's for sure. But I mean,
It's more, yeah. But that's not saying much.
yeah,
My grandmother developed an app. It's more secure than WhatsApp. It's not that. Signal apparently now is the best one to use. I don't know, but that was a negative thing. And the point I don't agree with you there. The Snowden revelations to me always seemed like so obvious. Like if you watched if you knew anything about, first of all, what do you think American government does? Like, do you think they,
uh,
they'll talk, well, we don't want to pry, it's not our job, or any other governmental uh, agency that is to do with security and intelligence. And if you, like, I remember watching when I was very young, watching Good Will Hunting, I think came out 1994 or something. And in that, there is a scene where he talks about the fact that how CIA and FBI are pretty much nothing now, and NSA processes all the information. Like everybody knew this. Edward Snowden did make it pretty much. He made it obvious, and there's that video of the, I think, head of CIA or head of NSA that goes to the Congress or the Senate and says that no, we are not spying, and then there's all these documents that literally proves it, but no intelligence human being was believing them, and everybody knew what was going
keyword
on. So,
intelligence human being there. But
all
yeah,
right,
I mean, I agree.
yeah.
I both agree
It's
and
not that,
disagree with you.
no, no.
Yes, I agree, but perhaps
It,
Glenn
wait,
Greenwald
wait, wait.
would argue. Go ahead.
No, it's just like the Iraq War that everybody said, "Oh, we were fooled by the WMD allegations." How were you fooled by
Yeah.
WMD? It's the most obvious thing. I don't know. I can't believe the fuss that was made over it. In my
Yeah.
view, was a bit much, and
No.
that's
You
just
mentioned the
that's
Iraq War, but I mean, if you're talking about fake news, that's really fake news. And with this censorship culture now, I wonder what the mainstream media would have done. I mean, there is like the mother of all fake news, that stuff. But yeah, I
yeah,
agree. But I guess some would argue that perhaps the scale of the revelations and the way that it was done is one thing. And the second thing is, it kind of reminds me of these scientific studies where someone is like, oh, and water is wet. I mean, it's kind of the whole point a lot of time of scientific studies to, prove the most basic thing. So idiots shut the
yeah, you
fuck
have
up.
to.
And this is also kind of like that, and so many people who, we can label them whatever they want. Before that, they might have been like, oh yeah, where's the proof and all this. Well, and we
Yeah,
also
we do.
got to meet one of the most like
No, no.
articulate, smartest people who ever worked in the government. So that maybe you can count just Snowden himself
Who?
as part of the revelations.
Well, that's the thing. Let me disagree with you there. I think if you do go from interviews I saw with him, he had a bit of an idealism when he joined the NSA, and he thought he's,
Hmm.
I don't know, protecting American values as he saw them, and they are very nice. But if you believe in that type of thing, I don't think you're great.
Well, he
Anyway,
was a
you're right.
child then, though, but it changed. I mean, he's still very young. So, I mean, we're
I,
talking
I,
about
think
early
I,
20s
I
having.
grew I grew out of this type of thing when I was like, I don't know, like same time that I gave up on Santa Claus, I gave up on like,
No.
it's just to me anyway.
Yeah.
But that's one thing. Second thing, no, I just wanted to make the point. I think the Brazil stuff is far more, in my view, impressive in a way because
Hmm.
maybe not because he's more famous, but in a way because it's just the type of conspiracy theory that's always talked about, but
Yeah.
never proven. That collusion within different circles of governments and all that. So to me, that was quite impressive. And what while the Snowden one, I joke it was obviously important and all that, but it was much more expected.
Yeah,
This
yeah.
one
No,
I
no,
didn't see
you're
coming.
right in
And
those ways. Yeah.
I, and I recall the guy, the even Guardian and all these soft so-called leftist media stuff. The judge Sergio, I forget his name, the judge guy, the
Moro. Yeah.
yeah, he was. Even a lot of leftist publications were, oh, he's a crusader
Yeah.
against corruption, and he's the,
Well, yeah.
even though he's right wing, he's a good guy, blah blah blah. So I think this type of thing,
Yeah.
it was more impressive to me. That's all.
Yeah, I know. And then Glenn Greenwald also mentions how a lot of the people that were put in jail were like corrupt billionaires and all this through um, the whole car wash thing. And yes, Sergio Moro put behind bars. So apparently in the beginning, he wasn't, too convinced about how much of an awful person Moro is because he was doing a couple of good things. And he was like, I'm not going to argue against someone who's putting in jail billionaires or other corrupt people. But that's what happened. And then, but yeah, just the level of success that, in a way, this Glenn Greenwald guy has is insane. Makes you feel kind of bad about yourself. Except, I
Yeah.
went on his Wikipedia page and he looks super young, man. He was a bit older than what I expected. So, gave me
All
some
right.
hope.
Okay.
What guess? How old do you think he is right now?
42, 4.
That's exactly what I thought. Add a
All
decade.
right.
He's
Oh, really?
54.
50?
Yeah.
Wow. Brazil is, good to him. I
Doing
suppose
him
it's just,
wonders, right? He looks like that's exactly what I thought. 42, 44.
he had, maybe
So
because
Sam,
he's
there's
always
still
had.
hope for us.
Yeah, maybe in 20 years we do. Although I never want to be a journalist or
Yeah, no, no,
do
I mean just
journalism.
doing
It's
something
just that,
worthwhile.
another thing, just the views that Jimmy Dore has about journalism, because I did watch that
Yeah,
interview and the other parts of it. It's just, again, like, sure, okay, doctors are all supposed to be doing medicine to save lives, but that's not reality. Most
yeah,
doctors work for money. Most people are operating based on, in financial and personal interest. So I just don't like that they keep putting, oh, journalists should be like this.
yeah.
Nah, I don't know. They are people. They're trying to make money, and if you fall for a lot of their propaganda, again, maybe it's your own fault.
No, yeah. Can't disagree too much with that. But yeah, if anybody wants to really learn more about the revelations and what it means, and I
Yeah, yeah,
mean, this is game changing. Now there's not just that, but the fact that Lula can run now. I mean, this is going to be a fascinating. I don't know when the elections are,
election.
in a year or two, but Bolsonaro versus Lula, it's going to be huge. I
I,
mean,
do
apparently
you
after his second term, he still had like an 80% what's the 80
approval?
approval rating, which is like insane.
Do you
But
think there are a lot of stuff that there are a lot of allegations about Bolsonaro's sons being involved in mafia
yeah, I
crime?
mean, they talk about the killing of this very famous LGBTQ female
Feminists, yeah.
politician. The accusations go exactly all the way to Bolsonaro and his son. I don't know the
So,
details and all that.
uh,
And yeah,
no, I just wonder, do you think and then at the same time you have Bolsonaro openly calling for fascism and all that. Do you think there is a chance that he might get removed, kind of like Trump impeachment type thing, or a coup d'etat with him, with military like supporting him? Do you think there is any chance of any of those
no,
things?
Yeah, I really don't know. I don't think it's gonna go there, and I don't think like the leftists or the opposition have those kind of things. But I mean, the impeachment part, I have no idea. But the other one, I think like Lula and those guys, I mean, their strategy would probably be go to the elections and just beat him there because also of the history of
No,
military
not
and coup and all this in in
not
Brazil.
Lula. Bolsonaro. Do you think he might do a coup to stay in power?
Oh,
That's what.
yeah.
Because he keeps to openly saying that, yeah, the dictatorship was
I don't
awesome
think
back
he's
in.
like that. I don't, I mean, I don't think he'd have those capabilities or abilities, and yeah, and be like that. And especially now, he doesn't have the Sergio Moro guy on his side. I mean, or on his side, or that active, because Glenn Green was talking about, the Sergio Moro guy is not like a pure dumbass, like
Yeah,
him.
not like
He's like a sophisticated evil person, kind of, so to speak.
the Ted Cruz of Brazilian
Yeah.
culture.
Well, but yeah, well, I hope he's smarter than that because.
Yeah, yeah,
But true,
yeah.
Ted Cruz was also what, like the editor of like the Harvard Law Review or something like that.
Ted Cruz is man. He can recite Shakespeare from memory.
Uh,
Apparently, he's smart. He's just has
yeah,
clearly gone on the evil routes with his intelligence. Like
yeah.
clearly, like he doesn't believe in anything.
But yeah, and if you also want to find out more, Katie Halper, about 3 weeks ago, she had this young Brazilian journalist. I'll link to it in the description box. He also gave a very nice overview about the situation in Brazil. But okay, that's it. Let's wrap this video up. If you have any comments, criticisms, anything, please leave them in the comment section below. We'll make sure to get to them. If not, thank you for watching, and please like and subscribe, and we'll see you in our next video. Thank you.